There will come a moment in your life when silence speaks louder than noise, when stillness will be your teacher and the chaos inside you will beg for order. That is the moment you must look within and ask, what am I doing every single day that either builds me or breaks me? Because transformation does not arrive at your doorstep with a loud announcement. It tiptoes in silently through the habits you carry, through what you repeat, what you tolerate, and what you believe about yourself. Success is not born in the spotlight. It's born in the quiet hours when no one is watching, when you choose to show up even when no one claps, when you choose to keep promises you made to yourself. You want to change your life? Don't wait for the weekend. Don't wait for the perfect mood. Don't wait for someone to believe in you. Start now, because what you do daily becomes your identity, and identity becomes destiny. Wake up with purpose, even when you're tired. Speak kindly to yourself, even when you failed. Read one page, take one step, drink one glass of water. Breathe. The habit doesn't have to be huge. It has to be consistent. I've seen people rise from ashes just because they refused to stay where life left them. They changed their mornings, they changed their words, and slowly they changed their world. Let this be the day you no longer let your past define you. Let this be the moment you break the chain of procrastination. Let this be the start of your transformation. Because transformation doesn't happen in years, it begins in minutes, in decisions, in daily, silent victories. So today, choose the habit that aligns with the future you want, not the comfort that keeps you in the past. Remember this, you are not born to live a life of survival. You are born to thrive, and every powerful transformation begins with one brave choice. Make it today. Your habits shape your identity, change your habits, and you change your destiny. This statement may seem simple, even ordinary, but when you look closer, you realize that within it lies the quiet power that builds empires, rewrites stories, and resurrects broken souls. Our identity is not something we are born with, fixed and unchangeable. It is something we create, moment by moment, choice by choice, through the things we repeatedly do. Your identity is not found in a single decision or a grand gesture. It is found in the small, everyday actions, the habits that shape how you think, how you feel, and ultimately who you become. Think about the habits you carry with you. They may seem harmless or routine, but they are silently constructing the framework of your life. The way you start your morning, the words you whisper to yourself, the choices you make when no one is watching, all of it forms the pattern of your being. If you wake up every morning feeling defeated, scrolling aimlessly through your phone, convincing yourself you'll start tomorrow, then what you're actually doing is teaching yourself that your time, your goals, your life can wait. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to identify as someone who delays, who avoids, who gives up before beginning. But imagine instead that you started your morning with purpose. Not perfection, purpose. You rise a little earlier, stretch your body, breathe deeply, express gratitude, and remind yourself who you are becoming. That small and once your identity shifts, your destiny follows. You see, most people try to change their lives by forcing results. They want success, so they chase big outcomes. They want peace, so they cut off the world. They want love, so they go searching outside themselves. But none of that will ever work if your habits, the foundation, remain the same. Real change begins when your habits begin to reflect the person you want to be. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And your systems are made up of your habits. If you want to become a writer, you don't need to publish a book tomorrow. You just need to write for 10 minutes today. If you want to be strong, you don't need to lift 100 pounds right now. You just need to show up, sweat a little, and come back again tomorrow. If you want to live a life full of purpose and freedom, you must start by creating habits that align with that vision. Habits are the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. They are the daily votes you cast for your future self. Even when no one sees your effort, your habits are shaping you. Even when you feel like nothing is changing, your habits are rewiring your mind. Consistency matters more than intensity. You don't have to be extraordinary. You just have to be consistent. That's where the transformation lives, in showing up for yourself every day, even when you feel tired, even when life is heavy, even when doubt whispers that it doesn't matter. But it does matter. It matters more than you know. Now, because every time you choose a positive habit over an old pattern, you are breaking cycles, you are healing. You are becoming the version of self that you've only seen in your dreams. This is not magic. It is not luck. It is you building something real from the inside out. So if you want to change your life, don't look outward. Look inward. Look at what you do daily, what you consume, how you speak, how you move, how you rest, what you say to yourself in moments of doubt, what you prioritize when the pressure is on. All of these things are shaping the story you're living. And the most beautiful part, at any moment, you can begin again. You are not trapped in your past identity. You are not doomed to repeat old cycles. You have the power to rewrite your story, one habit at a time. Your habits are not just tasks on a to-do list. They are declarations. They are proof that you are becoming. So if you're searching for your destiny, don't look for a sign. Look at your habits. You might eat what's easiest, say what's unfiltered, do what feels comfortable, and then wonder why your life lacks depth, direction, or fulfillment. Discipline, on the other hand, brings intention into every part of your existence. It reminds you that you are the author of your story, not just a character drifting through it. Every time you act with discipline, you reinforce that truth. Discipline is how you build trust with yourself. Every time you say you'll wake up early, and you do, every time you promise yourself you'll finish the task, and you see it through, you strengthen a bond that so many people have broken with themselves. That trust becomes the foundation of confidence, the fuel behind resilience. Who can feel resilient? You begin to walk differently, speak differently, think differently, because you no longer rely on motivation or mood. You rely on your discipline, and that gives you power. The most successful people are not the most talented. They're not the luckiest. They're not the ones who always feel inspired. They are the ones who have trained themselves to show up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. That kind of consistency isn't born out of punishment. It's born out of clarity. A clear understanding of what they want, why it matters, and what it will take to get there. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. It's what turns ideas into action and action into results. Without discipline, even the greatest dream remains a fantasy. You can talk about your goals all day, but without discipline, you won't build them. You'll start and stop. You'll make excuses. You'll look for motivation like it's a missing key. But with discipline, you stop waiting. You stop hoping. You start building. You show up on the days when nothing feels magical. You do the work when no one claps. You keep your word when no one else is watching. That's when the shift happens. That's when your life begins to change. People often confuse discipline with rigidity, as if having structure means you have no freedom. But the truth is the opposite. Discipline creates freedom. When you're disciplined with your time, you create space for what matters. When you're disciplined with your finances, you gain control over your future. When you're disciplined with your energy, you stop wasting it on things that drain you. Freedom is not doing whatever you want, whenever you want. That's chaos in disguise. True freedom is having the strength to make choices that align with your values, your dreams, and your purpose. And that strength is born from discipline. There's a certain peace that comes with discipline too. When you know you're doing what needs to be done, when you know you're walking in alignment with your goals, there's less anxiety, less guilt, less regret. You're not haunted by the things you should have done because you did them. You're not distracted by comparison because you're focused on your own path. That internal calm doesn't come from laziness or avoidance. It comes from discipline, from knowing you're living with intention. Discipline also teaches you patience. In a world obsessed with speed and instant results, discipline reminds you that the best things take time. It trains your mind to endure discomfort. It teaches your heart to trust the process. It helps you see that greatness is not created in sudden leaps, but in daily steps. And those steps taken consistently with discipline are what lead you to your highest potential. So no, discipline is not a punishment. It is not the enemy of fun or freedom. It is a tool that sets you free from the chaos of impulse. It is the structure that holds your purpose. It is the quiet, daily promise that you are capable, worthy, and committed to becoming who you were meant to be. The small things you do daily become the big things that define your life. It's easy to underestimate the quiet moments. The 5 extra minutes you spend on your goals, the decision to drink water instead of soda, the choice to respond with patience instead of anger. These might seem like minor details in the grand scheme of life, but over time, They are the details that shape the entire story. People often believe transformation requires massive change all at once. They wait for a perfect day to begin, a surge of motivation, or a grand breakthrough. But life doesn't transform in a moment. It transforms in the everyday, through the little habits, the daily choices, the small disciplines that seem insignificant in the moment, but carry enormous power over time. The truth is, success doesn't arrive at your doorstep in one loud knock. It tiptoes in silently through your routines. It's built in the way you treat your morning, in how you treat your body, in the words you whisper to yourself when no one is listening. A single act of kindness, a few minutes of gratitude, a quiet moment of reflection. These are not small. They are seeds. And seeds, when nurtured consistently, grow into something beautiful and lasting. We live in a world where we celebrate the visible, the big wins, the loud achievements, the shiny results. But what we fail to see is the invisible discipline behind them, the quiet sacrifices, the hours of practice when no one was watching, the decision to keep going when quitting was easier, the daily choices that may never make the headlines, but shape the character of the person living the story. These small things become the difference between a life of purpose and a life of regret. There's something powerful about the idea that greatness is not a one-time event, but a collection of repeated moments. Think about how you speak to yourself in the mirror every morning. Are your words filled with belief or self-doubt? That habit, that tone, repeated every single day, will either build your confidence or bury it. Think about how you spend your free time. Do you fill it with mindless scrolling or meaningful? That pattern, played out across days, weeks, and years, becomes the difference between a passive life and a powerful one. We become what we repeatedly do. Our actions are not isolated incidents. They are the building blocks of our identity. If you want to change your life, you don't need to uproot everything at once. You just need to examine your small habits and begin choosing differently. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Write one page a day. Replace one negative thought with one empowering truth. These may seem like pebbles, but over time they create mountains. The small things also reveal what you truly value. You can say, health is important. But if you skip movement every day, your habits reveal something else. You can say you want to grow, but if you never read, reflect, or challenge yourself, your patterns contradict your words. Your life isn't shaped by your wishes. It's shaped by your habits. The smallest choices expose your deepest priorities. You don't need to be rich to wake up with gratitude. You don't need to be famous to be kind. You don't need a big platform to make a difference in someone's day. You just need to show up every day, repeatedly, with intention. Because what you do consistently becomes who you are, authentically. That's where the transformation lives. There's no shortcut to a meaningful life. There's no single moment that will change everything for you. What will change everything is your daily discipline, the way you respond when it's hard, the decision to keep your word even when no one will know, the courage to take one step today and another tomorrow. That's how lives are rebuilt. That's how broken dreams are revived. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary, not overnight, but through the small, steady beat of consistency. You have more control than you think, not over what happens to you, but over what you choose each day. You can't always choose your circumstances, but you can always choose your response. You can choose to stay in the cycle of excuses, or you can choose to take one step forward. You can choose to be overwhelmed by the big picture, or you can focus on the next small action. And that's the secret. The small things don't stay small. Over time, they gather strength. They shape your mindset. They influence your decisions. They determine your direction. And slowly, without even realizing it, you become the person you've always wanted to be. Not because of one grand decision, but because of 1,000 quiet, determined ones. So take the small steps, make the small choices. Do the small things. They are not just details. They are your life. Transformation doesn't start when the world believes in you. It starts when you believe in yourself. It starts when you believe in yourself. So many people spend their lives waiting for validation, waiting for applause, waiting for someone else to tell them they're worthy, they're capable, they're enough. They look outward, hoping the world will give them the permission they've been afraid to give themselves. But the truth is, transformation, the real, lasting kind, doesn't begin with external praise. It begins with an internal shift. A quiet but powerful moment when you finally decide to trust your own voice more than the noise around you. Believing in yourself is not arrogance. It is not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about finally recognizing that you matter. The most powerful thing you can do is to believe in the possibility of your own becoming. Not because someone told you it was possible, but because you felt it. Because deep inside, you knew there had to be more for you. You see, people will doubt you. That's almost guaranteed. They will question your choices, your dreams, your timing. Some of them will even laugh. Not because you aren't capable, but because your vision reminds them of what they gave up on. And if you base your self-worth on their approval, you'll never move forward. You'll keep shrinking. You'll keep dimming your light just to make others comfortable. But you weren't born to blend in. You were born to shine. And that shine begins the moment you stop asking for permission to be powerful. Believing in yourself is a decision you make every day, especially on the hard days. Especially on the hard days. Especially when the evidence of success hasn't shown up yet. Especially when the path is dark and your feet are tired. That's when self-belief matters the most. It's easy to feel confident when everything is going right. But true transformation is built in the moments when everything feels uncertain and you choose to show up anyway. You keep building even when no one claps. You keep speaking even when your voice trembles. You keep walking even when the road disappears beneath you. There's a fire inside you. Maybe it's quiet, maybe it's faint, but it's there. It's the part of you that knows you were made for more. It's the part that won't let you give up, no matter how many times you've fallen. That fire is your power. It doesn't need anyone's permission to burn. And the moment you stop waiting for the world to light your flame and start tending it yourself, everything changes. That's when you begin to transform. That's when your story begins to shift. You don't need a crowd to begin. You don't need a spotlight to grow. All you need is that first decision. To believe that your life matters enough to fight for. To believe that your dreams are not random. To believe that your voice, your story, your perspective have a place in this world. Because once you believe in yourself, you begin to act differently. You stop making excuses. You stop playing small. You stop settling for the version of life that's comfortable but unfulfilling. Self-belief fuels action. When you believe in your worth, you stop tolerating things that steal your peace. When you believe in your potential, you invest in your growth. When you believe in your vision, you commit to the work. That commitment, built on the foundation of belief, is where transformation takes root. Not in the grand dramatic moments, but in the daily choices to keep showing up, to keep trying, to keep choosing yourself. Every person you admire, every story of triumph you've heard began the same way, with someone who dared to believe in themselves before anyone else did. They didn't wait to be chosen. They chose themselves. They didn't wait for certainty. They moved with courage. And over time, their belief became contagious. The world didn't shape them. They shaped the world around them. But it all started with a decision no one could see, a moment could see, a moment no one clapped for. A quiet choice to believe even when it felt impossible. Transformation is not about changing who you are. It's about becoming who you've always been beneath the fear, the doubt, the lies you've been told. And that journey begins the moment you stop looking outside for permission and start looking within for the truth. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a cheering section. You don't need all the answers. You just need to believe, genuinely, fiercely, unapologetically, that you are enough as you are to begin. The world might catch up later. They might celebrate you eventually, but don't wait for them. Your belief is the seed. Your actions are the water. Your consistency is the sunlight. And over time, what you grow will be unshakable. Not because others believed in you, but because you believed in you first.